Okay, good evening, everyone. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We have saying the invocation is Pastor Jeff from Crossroads Church. Thank you for being here. And after Pastor Jeff, if you can stand if you're willing and able, and let's see, Anthony will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm sorry, Anthony, I'm like struggling on who you are.
So I'm going to face them, but you're all part of this prayer this evening, okay? So, good evening, City Council members. I'm Care Pastor Jeff from Crossroads Church, and thank you for this opportunity to be here this evening. I've titled this Today's Accomplishments. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for every seat that has been filled here today, for each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room. We thank you. Only you truly know what this board is setting out to accomplish today. Pray this board has fresh ideas, visions, hints, and daily instruction. Give them many talents, abilities, and time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for your good. Your righteousness transcends all of our efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that puffs one up, and the pride that threatens to unqualify a body. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made them to be. Set them free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this meeting today, all those present, as well as the lives this board will encounter afterwards. Ready them to make every moment count. We thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, roll call. We need to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Herman, if we can get a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve the minutes of the City Council regular meeting of June 2nd, 2025, accept the minutes for the Arts and Culture Commission meeting of May 6th, 2025, accept the minutes for the Planning and Zoning regular meeting of May 1st, 2025, and accept the minutes for Planning and Zoning special meeting of May 1st, 2025, accept the minutes for the Police Personnel Retirement Board meeting of April 2nd, 2025.
Second. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, if you can please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So approval of the claims.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve the list of claims from May 28th, 2025 through June 10th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any further discussion? You know, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting agenda approval. Are there any changes to the meeting agenda?
Madam Mayor, we have no changes to the meeting agenda this evening.
Any other council? Okay, so if we can get a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
So move.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item G, consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Is there anything that needs to be removed from the consent agenda? From the council? From staff or the public?
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Okay, if we can please get a roll call vote, Adriana?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Councilmember Edwards,
Yes.
Councilmember Hiddleston,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. Okay, public comments. So if there's anyone that would like to address the council, I know I have a speaker card, Barbara Sundust. Is it for public comments, or is it something else on the agenda? Probably just at this time? Well, the camping ordinance, but you can address the council here too, if you would like. Sure. And Barbara, if you can give your name and address for us when you come up?
My name's Barbara Sundust, and my address is 1273 East Cordova Avenue, Casa Grande. I just would like to mention, we do Laundry Love for the homeless and the unhoused elderly women in apartments and families. We have quite a few families now that we do Laundry Love for. So we do it the second Wednesday and the last Wednesday of the month. So we did it January 11th, and we served 82 people. We did 505 loads of wash. We do this between 3 and sort of 7, a little bit later than that lots of times. But we did 505 loads of wash, and it was $1,731. And during that time, I tried to talk to a few of the women that were there, and just to get the sense of where they're living and what their life is like. And one lived in a tent, and one, she kind of lives in her car and she sleeps with a friend, but she's not housed. She doesn't have any place. And then 2 other that I know live in cars. And then I talked to one lady who, she's young, and she has a son that's also young, or he's like a teenager, but he's going to some kind of classes now, so he's getting some education so he can get a job. But she was living in an apartment. She owed 1 month rent. She was in arrears by 1 month. She went to Cara, and they were going to help her, but whoever was there made a serious mistake, did not help her, and so now she's living in her car. And so the reason I even say it is because she's not somebody who doesn't want to work. So she was driving for Uber, but she could only drive food because she's living in her car, so she couldn't take people anyplace. I thought, okay. So, and I think we're trying to help her now, so that's a good thing. But I just can see such a need for women to have a shelter. And I know that in my head, I make it simple. So I think, okay, the pavilion's there. It's pretty much empty. So, okay, let these women there. They could get help. They could have people food. They would help with the money. So I know I simplify it, but it just seems like such a need. And then there's the 2 hotels in town, the Moon Motel and the Cite Motel, which are horrible existing places. And the people who own it don't live any place in Arizona, charge huge amounts of money for that place. So, I mean, that could be a woman's shelter and a man's shelter. Just clean it up, take it over. I'm gonna have to take it over from those people, I guess. But it just, anyway, I just want something for these people, especially now in the heat. Can you imagine living in your car, even in the daytime, and then trying to sleep in it, and it's all overheated? So, there's one place that's called Sister Jose Women's Shelter. It's in Tucson. So I have addresses and stuff, maybe if you want to look at it. Okay, the only other thing I want to say is about I'm sorry. All of these end at 7 o'clock latest.
Right.
No place for them to be cool at night.
Right.
Thank you for listening again.
Thank you, Barbara. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Sure, come on up. If you can try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, I'm 60% deaf. I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, I said if you can try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, and if you can
Sure.
give us your name and address,
I'll give
please.
it my best.
Sure.
I'm actually one of these unsheltered people,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
but I'm here to speak for everybody out there. What this proposal that on this ordinance is doing nothing more than trying to push us out of the city. You just gotta find a safe place. I've been told that you can't find one. Well, I've found 2 in my walkings. They're real easy. I'm asking you not to just avoid the ordinance, but to maybe just table it for 2 months. Let me get my numbers together, because I know you pencil pushers, you want numbers. It looks a lot better on paper. I did have some numbers. I got moved and I lost the papers. They somehow got destroyed. So, if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. Just table it. I'm not asking you to kill it. Just table it for a little while. And I'll come back in a couple of weeks or a month and with numbers and spots for you to for you to give these people a safe shelter. If you push them to the Outlanders place, that's what I'm calling them, and if you take these inlanders and push them to the Outlanders, there's thievery going on daily. They steal from each other. There's been stabbings out there, and there's been just somebody brutally got beaten over a flipping gallon of water. Sorry, I don't have a filter. I'm trying to keep that in check. I saw this happen in Cabrini Green in Chicago. They flattened Cabrini Green, which is a subsidized living crap, and they pushed them out to the suburbs. Chicago said, to hell with them, we don't have to worry about them anymore. Instead of having Tower 1 fight Tower 3, you're having Round Lake Heights fight Round Lake Beach, and Round Lake is right stuck in the middle of them. So you have innocent people getting hurt for no reason at all. These people here in the inner city don't want to go out there for that main reason. You just got to find somewhere to put them. I know where you can put them. You just got to give me a chance to prove it to you. So that's all I'm asking is just table it for a couple of months, and thank you.
Can you give us your name?
My name?
Yes.
Charles William Ellis. Defined Charles, free man. That's a definition. William, defender of the vulnerable, and Ellis, coming from the name Elijah, which means the Lord is my God. So I am a free man defending the vulnerable, and by the Lord's sake, I will have God on my side.
Thank you, Charles. Is there anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comments. And if you can, Charles, if you can get with our deputy city manager, maybe, Stephen, can you talk to him about that? Okay. Okay, item J1. I guess that's me. Matt isn't here, Mayor Pro Tem, but this is the approval of the 16 appointments to the Casa Grande Youth Commission. I know Mayor Pro Tem Matt Herman has been active and part of this, and so we just want to congratulate all the new members and welcome back some of the old members. So I did want to, let's see if I just lost it on my screen here. I did want to bring up all the names here. Hold on, if you can give me a minute. My screen went off. Okay, hold on. I can't get it going. Shoot, you guys, I can't get this here. Okay, got it.
There you go.
So I'm going to go ahead and read the names of our new youth commission, and if any of you are here, if you can please stand up. So the reappointments are Kendra Wilson, McKinley Carrier, Piper O'Sullivan, Quinn Wong, Reese Maestas, and Sawyer Barth. Sawyer. And our new members are Amaya Fisher, Easton Valdez, Hayden Dalick, Isabella Wagner, Jacqueline Hernandez, Lydiana Rodriguez, Victoria Nash, Vincent Vaseri, Wyatt Estenson, and Zoe Freeman. So for those of you that are here, thank you for being here, and thank you for serving on the Youth Commission. We really appreciate you serving, so thank you. Okay, so if we can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations again. Okay, item K1.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you for the opportunity to present this particular item this evening. Ordinance number 3468 really is a summary of work that started under the prior council that is carrying over to this new council through a project to actually build effectiveness and value with our boards and commissions. And I think that we've made, council has considered a variety of amendments as part of that project that really focused on each of our boards and commissions, building some continuity with the number of members, the terms, and the like, so that individuals serving on a board and commission, they would see some relative similarity to other types of boards that may be in the community. But this particular ordinance this evening is asking mayor and council to repeal the police advisory board and actually create a new public safety advisory board and the various components thereof. A bit of the history, the ordinance would dissolve the police advisory board, which was created by ordinance in 2001, and create a new framework for the public safety advisory board. The newly proposed board creates a broader connection of the city's public safety services, which not only includes the police department, but also serves the services of the fire department. Some components of the ordinance: the board would be required to meet at least quarterly or more often at the request of the board or the public safety departments. The board, which would have 7 members serving 3-year terms, would be staffed by the public safety departments and would focus on facilitating community involvement, including the help to help educate the community on available police services and program, fire and rescue services, volunteer programs, and various opportunities within the public safety arena. And so that really summarizes the ordinance. I know that I've circulated it to the mayor and council for your review in draft form for a couple of weeks now, but ultimately the next steps, because the police advisory board actually had members that still had terms that had not expired, at least staff's recommendation is that we would contact those individuals that were serving on the police advisory board and give them an opportunity to not necessarily make application, but certainly come in for an interview with the mayor and the public safety directors, both police and fire chiefs, and ultimately understanding exactly how many of those individuals would express interest and would be selected. Then we could get a better understanding as this particular ordinance moves its way to second reading and the 30-day cure period thereafter. We could, at that point in time, post for the available spots and ultimately end up having interviews to fill this board, probably very similar to the time that the ordinance would cure and the board would be effective at that point. And so it took staff a bit longer to finalize this, simply because of the landscape and the number of changes that are coming out related to state statutes and the like. But we feel like we've been able to create an advisory board that really defines the role that the mayor and council would expect that they would play in this particular, in our community. And so with that, Madam Mayor, members of the council, I'll pause and entertain any questions that you might have.
Okay, any questions?
No.
Comments? No? Okay, guess we're getting off easy, no questions. No, and we appreciate it. I know it's something that you've been working on, and Brett, and just appreciate both of the police chiefs' willingness to continue this. We've had a police advisory board for many, many years, and again, it's just to communicate with the public and being open and transparent, and so I'm happy to see that it's coming back. So thank you to the Chief Keen and Police Chief, but Deputy Chief Leos is here, so thank you. So with that, if we can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 3468, an ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Casa Grande repealing the police advisory board, creating a public safety advisory board, establishing the severability of the various sections of the ordinance, and establishing an effective date.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve ordinance number 3468 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo,
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember B. Dillon,
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards,
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Okay, item K2. Adriano, or not Adriano, sorry, Roberta.
That's fine. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the city's FY 25-26 consolidated fee schedule, which will be effective July 1st, 2025. Since 2005, the council has adopted the consolidated fee schedule and rate schedule, or fee and rate schedule that's incorporated all departments' government functions. All departments review and amend the schedule during the budget process. The fees rate schedule functions outside of the City of Casa Grande Municipal Code, but is incorporated by reference. Prior to consideration by council, the consolidated fee schedules were posted more than 60 days on the city's website as required by Arizona Revised Statute 9-499.15. Notice of intent related to the consolidated fee schedules were posted to the city's website and social media at least 15 days prior to considering the adoption of the 25-26 consolidated fee schedule. Fee and rate recommendations are based on cost recovery targets, the cost of providing service, and market comparison. All proposed adjustments are designed to recover cost of services while adhering to each program cost recovery philosophy. Some fees, such as dog license, are set low to remove the barrier for compliance. Other fees, set as adult recreation, attempt to recover 100% of the cost. Departments and divisions with changes including community service, city court, finance, fire, planning and development, police, sanitation. Additionally, a uniform photocopy fee was aligned across all departments that charged for this service. Although not specifically called out in our fee schedule, the city's intent not to include sales tax or other government pass-through fees as part of the adoption fees is in most cases. Unless specifically called out that in the attached schedule, the adopted fees do not include taxes or other government fees. The fee schedule that was attached in your packet reflects the final consolidated fee schedule for the 25-26 fiscal year. In addition, the proposed resolution would grant explicit authority to the city manager to allow for temporary reduction of rates under certain circumstances and to expressly grant authorization for the city to provide for promotional and marketing rates. With that, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer any.
Okay, are there any questions, comments? Okay, we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5777, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, declaring as a public record and adopting that certain document filed with the city clerk and entitled Fiscal Year 2025-2026 Consolidated Fee Schedule effective July 1, 2025, authorizing the city manager to provide for the reduction of rates and establishing an effective date.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5777 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember B. Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Okay, item K3. Roberta.
Mayor and council is being asked to adopt an ordinance establishing the primary and secondary property tax rate for the city of Casa Grande for the 26 fiscal year. Based upon current assessed valuations, the proposed primary tax rate of 0.9643 will raise a tax levy of approximately $5,987,000. And a secondary rate of 0.4154 will raise a tax levy of approximately $2,579,429. It is the intent of the city that the property tax rates of 0.9643 and 0.4154 be adopted, and that any adjustments are required to be made by the county that they will do so in the levy. On June 2nd, 2025, the mayor and council held public hearings of the 26th final budget and the primary and secondary property tax rates. Primary property taxes are collected to use in the general fund for operational purposes. Secondary property taxes are utilized to pay voter-authorized general obligation bond debt. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Comments?
Nope.
Just that we're happy they're the same.
Yes.
Same level.
Nothing's going
so-
up.
Nothing's going on.
Nothing's going up. Okay. So if we can please get a, let's see, resolution number. Ordinance number.
Ordinance number 3469, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of the property within the City of Casa Grande, subject to taxation, a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from fines, licenses, and other sources of revenue, providing funds for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying interest upon bonded indebtedness, and providing a general fund for general municipal expenses, all for the fiscal year ending with the 30th day of June 2026.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move for approval of ordinance number 3469 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember B. Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Hiddleston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, item K4.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Staff recommends that the Mayor and City Council adopt the ordinance related to camping and the use of public property. A little background, we held a study session on February 18th, 2025, where we reviewed the current codes, the recent court rulings, and challenges departments are facing in regards to camping on public and private property. We also talked about what other cities are doing to address similar challenges, and it was clear that our codes were not clear enough and that we needed to deal with camping on public property, and we needed to add some language to that. So staff drafted an ordinance. Mayor and staff held a meeting with stakeholders to review the draft ordinance, and everyone was supportive. We held another study session on May 19th, 2025, where we reported back about the meeting with the stakeholders, the highlights of the ordinance, and the plan moving forward, and council was supportive of the language of the ordinance. So I'm just going to go over the ordinance language again, the highlights. Also, since then, we've had a few phone calls from people calling in saying, we're going to go ticket happy and go around and ticket everybody. That is not our intent at all with this ordinance. We want to treat people with dignity and respect. And really, the point of it is there are certain areas that people are camping in that are kind of disruption, and that we need to be able to move those people out of there when needed. But really, we're going to try to help people. And that's why we're dealing with all of our partners in this process. So it's a couple highlights of the ordinance: no camping on public and private property, no camping within 500 feet of a school, childcare, shelter, or park, no washing one's body or belongings in a fountain, splash pad, or lake. The Community Services Director does have the ability to issue permits for youth and school camps and in open spaces. The city manager may also issue permits for camp or camp facilities in connection with a special event, or to grant a temporary permit for camp facilities. And this was put in there that if we do find a location where we would allow camping, then that can be approved according to this ordinance. Removal of property from public areas within 24 hours after being warned and removed, we store it for 10 days. The use of ramadas without a permit for no more than 2 consecutive hours, also provisioned in the park regulations for a 2-hour time frame that we can remove abandoned property. Also, just to note with this ordinance, as kind of discussed in public comment, we put an effective date of October 1st. So this is going to give us some opportunities to meet with our nonprofit partners and also to educate, to be able to post signs, to help in this effort. And so happy to answer any questions.
Any questions,
No question.
comments?
Just one question on the signage. I mean, how is that going to, I know it's still initial phases and all that kind of, how are you seeing the signs go out in public area? Excuse me. In public areas and whatnot, are they going to be like metal signs that are going to be established, or is it going to be just flyers that's going to be hung up, or what kind of signage are we talking about to notify the general public?
Well, Madam Mayor and Councilmember Badillan.
Dugan, sorry. Close enough.
Well, we're obviously going to go out in the media and get the word out that way, but we're also going to post signs, particularly in the parks in Ramada areas, so that people are aware of what the regulations are. So,
And those will go out before October 1st, I'm assuming?
yes. We're going to have a staff meeting of the different departments here in the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to develop a plan.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No, and I just wanted to thank Stephen and Deputy Chief Leos and our Parks Department and our Planning Department. I know Dan went to the CG Helps Coalition meeting the other day, and thank you for going, Dan, so you can see the efforts that are being made. You know, this isn't something that, you know, we're all super excited, but it's something that we have to do to support, you know, not only our employees and what's going on, but the citizens with safety and some of the needs and concerns that they're expressing. So we are really working on a coordinated effort. You know, we're working with the CG Helps Coalition, with the nonprofits. We've been, you know, trying to be proactive, come up with solutions. We're looking into the possibility of having a day, you know, somewhere for, you know, daytime at least at this point for people to go until a shelter, you know, there's, who knows when a shelter will ever be here, but it's something that people are really trying to work together on. And so there is definitely a coordinated effort, and I appreciate, Stephen, you taking just the lead on that and coordinating some of those efforts. So, you know, we, you know, have the cooling stations. I gave you guys a copy of that from Cara. So there are definitely cooling and hydration stations around the city of Casa Grande for people to go and get water and sit and cool off. Obviously, the library is one of them. You know, but we know, you know, the temperatures are heating up, and this is the time of year when we all get calls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you doing? Barbara has my cell phone, so she knows how to reach me. But you know, and we all see it, and it's very, very difficult. So so what we can do. So I know, you know, the gentleman talked earlier about giving some time, and it is, you know, October 1st is the day where, you know, we want to get the feedback from, you know, the nonprofits. We're, you know, working, exploring different things, and so we hope we can, you know, come up with some type of solutions here. So, but we appreciate the patience and everything with the police department and how they're going to handle it too. So, anyways, with that, if
Thank you.
anything else, go ahead. Did you have something?
No, just
Okay.
thank you. Just thank you.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, if I could,
Yes, sure.
just one point of clarification
Okay.
to Mr. Weaver's presentation. There's technically two ordinances tonight, because the first one is
That's right.
urban camping. The second deals with the minor modifications to the park regulations, but because they're in different sections of the code, we're asking you to adopt them separately.
Okay.
Separately?
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is if we can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1397.19, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting new chapter 12.08 of the Casa Grande Municipal Code regarding urban camping and storage of personal belongings, establishing the severability of the provisions of the ordinance, establishing a penalty for violations thereof, and establishing an effective date.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move for approval of ordinance number 1397.19 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so the second ordinance,
Resolution.
well, I guess, or it's an ordinance, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you need to review that at all, Larry, or no? She can just read the ordinance? Okay.
Ordinance number 1397.20, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending Chapter 12.04, Park Use Regulations of the Casa Grande Municipal Code regarding Ramada usage and unattended property, establishing the severability of the provisions of the ordinance and establishing an effective date.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I would move for approval of ordinance number 1397.20 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Rommel?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember B. Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Okay, item K5.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This evening, we are looking for approval to amend Resolution 5372 to amend the service area for the CG Link Transit, public transit service. And just to let you know, in order to make any modifications or fare increases or adjustments of that sort, we need to have a public hearing. We did so in February. We held 2 in one day. We had good attendance at Dorothy Powell Senior Center, and then later that afternoon at the City Hall in the council chambers. We had approximately 12 people attend in total. There was a good conversation and a lot of interest to expand the service area. After that, we have a comment period of 30 days where we accept public comment. We received 17, and it dealt with the service expansion and then other questions and comments with regard to the service. And so what we're looking to do, and this is just a recap of what I just mentioned, what we're planning to do is modify the service area, and I don't have a laser, but what I can, the way, let me explain it to you. Right now, the service extends to Cottonwood Lane, with the exception where we go to the community center and up to medical offices up on Courtson. What we're planning to do with approval today is expand the service area to the Viola Palm Park Boulevard, if you can see on your maps, bounded by Casa Grande Avenue and Treckle Road on the east and the west. This area, there's a lot of people who are riding the bus, and they're crossing Casa Grande, and they're using the virtual bus stop at the 7-Eleven. It's a busy intersection, and there's people of all ages, seniors, mothers with children, students, and they're crossing to use the service because they live just outside of the service area. So by doing this, we're really opening up a neighborhood of single unit homes, apartment buildings, there's some businesses, a park, and an opportunity for more people to get the curb-to-curb service and make those trips that they're taking easier. And then the folks that may be just out of the service area will have a little more access. They can come into the area. The second minor modification that we're making is in response to the Palm Creek Resort, our 55-plus manufactured home park, where some of the residents would like us to come in and pick them up. Well, that's a very congested location, and it would be very difficult for our vehicles, especially the larger ones, to travel throughout that park. So working with the management at that resort, we had designated a new bus stop near the clubhouse. So those are the minor modifications that we're planning to make. This will not increase the service, the dollars and cents whatsoever, and there will be no additional vehicles needed. This is just an example of that intersection at Cottonwood and Casa Grande, and you can see that's just a normal day, what's happening at that location. And the 7-Eleven is in the back corner. This is a tighter shot of the areas we would be serving. There is a number of apartment buildings, as I mentioned, and staff will reach out to myself, reach out to these apartment buildings, and let them know what's happening, and then they can distribute the information, or if they have community meetings, I'm happy to come and talk with the folks. There's also a facility on the corner of O'Neill and Treckle, where it's the 1729 North Treckle Building. There's a lot of county services and mothers and children. So we feel as though now people from anywhere within the service area can travel to that location, and that would be a nice destination. And I just ran some numbers because I mentioned in the report that it's in the top 10 as far as origin and destination. And in month, June to date, it's our 5th busiest location at that 7-Eleven. So it's nice, but now we'll be able to serve these folks directly from their home. And then these are just images of some of those locations I had mentioned: the park, the 1729 building, the school, some of the apartment buildings. And then this is, I apologize for my crude drawing there, but we will be following the alignment once you enter Palm Creek Boulevard over to the designated bus shelter. It's not in a very highly congested area, but it'll be a safe, covered location where people can walk to it and park their little golf carts there if they want, and then get on or off our vehicle. Okay. We plan, with approval this evening, we plan to be able to implement this next Monday, a week from today or morning, on that Monday. And our outreach will be as consistent as we've always done it. We'll do media, we'll do social media. We do rider alerts that are notified to the bus users that use the app on the website for the city and for the CG Link website. So anything we can do to get the word out, we will do it. And then reach out to our partnering agencies, such as the nonprofits, because a lot of their clients are people we serve. And there's also opportunities to expand connection with the CART Regional Transit Service to not only locations in Florence, Coolidge, but also to CAC. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions, comments?
I guess I just have one question. On that one slide that you had for Palm Creek where you're going in there, is there, it looks like you just go in, but is there an in and out where the bus doesn't have to back up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just looked like you would have to back out, so I just want to make sure we're doing that.
Actually, if we proceeded, we would just make a quick left and just go out through that parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we never back up
Okay.
without a spotter.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I want to make sure.
That's a big no-no.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
I would just say thank you so much for all that you do. I would love for this to go even further north.
Right.
And I know we're probably limited in what we can do. And I believe you had mentioned that the reason why we're going to that Palm Creek area is that a lot of those people were driving over, getting over to the other stops. And so I'm wondering, they're north, going towards Courtson. Do we get a lot of people coming from Valago, that area, up north, coming over to those stops?
I don't know specifically of people up and along Courtson that walk down to the county building or Safeway or the 7-Eleven. But I do know we've received a lot of phone calls and requests from, there's a variety of little manufactured home parks that people would like us to serve directly. And just residents in general. So in November is when we make our next large phase expansion of the service. And at that time, it's very likely that, we will be serving up to Courtson from Pinell on the west to Peart on the east. I don't know, maybe a little further, Arizola on the, I don't know what it might look like right now. But I definitely know that we're going to be we'll be going up to Courtson.
Okay. Thank you.
And would you say you have 40,000? What was the number that you've served so far?
Oh, we're at 60,000 trips
60,000
already,
trips.
and we're about a year and 7 months.
Right, okay. Well, good. No, thanks, Deb. And you know, the data is so important.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate you just looking at that to see where people are coming from. And, you know, by just popping up just a little bit, you know, we can serve a lot more people, you know, instead of them walking to 7-Eleven. And I see it. I live kind of in that area, so I see it a lot, people walking over there to catch the link. And it's always at Safeway. I see it at Safeway all the time.
Safeway,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, that's great. Okay, so if there's no other questions, if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5372.1, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending resolution number 5372 to expand the service area for the CG Link Transit service and authorizing the execution of documents by the city manager.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5372.1 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Ramo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Helston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Item K6. Kevin.
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Wilson and Company to provide design, engineering, and construction administration services for the Treckle Road Sewer Project with a total amount of $590,000. This does include a $59,185 city-controlled contingency for this project. So this project will design the Treckle Road Relief Sewer that is between Rodeo Road and Courtson Road. Of course, we just put the new sewer interceptor in Courtson Road. This will be tying into the existing system that's there. But this is also going to expand the scope for Wilson to also look at the design of the Treckle Road sewer from Cottonwood north to Courtson. And that project is designed to a 90% point right now. But because of the timing of the start of that design and a lot of the lessons that we learned while constructing the Courtson sewer line, we want them to take a closer look at that almost final design of that segment and incorporate some of the things that we're learning about how we're going to design the north portion of that sewer line replacement. And we really want to try and find ways to quicken the construction as well as lessen the traffic impact on our residents. I think we did a pretty good job on the Courtson sewer line project. We went through those main intersections. We bored each of those segments so that we could keep that roadway open. Obviously, if we close one of those main intersections, it's going to have a huge impact on this community. We do impact them even with those efforts, but it definitely lessens that impact. So that's what that additional design work for that south section is. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, Kevin, this line right here would be running, then you said this is going north, right,
So-
on that Treckle Road?
Yeah, so
And the
there's-
only reason why I bring it up, I know we're doing a lot of work with the roads already as it is, and I would hate for us to have to tear up something new to run another line going north.
Yeah, so this is just south of that project. So
Oh,
this is
okay.
Rodeo South.
Okay.
We're not going north.
North, okay. Okay, so it's running the same as we're doing on Courtson.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
I've got a couple.
Sure.
So on the section between Cottonwood and Courtson, do we already have a contractor selected to be the cement risk on that section?
We do not. Actually, we just reviewed the statements of qualifications, and the review panel have turned them in to our engineering team, and we should be having an announcement, I believe, Thursday of this week, who that CMAR is going to be, and then I believe we're going to be at the second meeting in July with a contract.
But we're already at 90% design.
For the south section, yes.
Okay, so so you got one contractor to do both sections?
Design both sections, yes. But we're going to do the construction of both segments with one contractor.
One contractor, okay. I just wonder why we're already at 90% for a section when you should already get it.
They only took it to 90 because we wanted to wait until we had the CMAR in place.
Okay. And then I guess the other point to that would be, I don't know, I mean, it's an option. It's great to have Wilson and Company helping design that section, but I'd definitely wait till you get a contractor involved and make sure they're part of that, because they may have better options than just jack and bore or something else, so just a point there.
Yep.
And then, my final question was on, Wilson's scope. I noticed that they have preliminary design, and then they have a 90% detailed design. Are they doing a 60% design, or are we just going straight from 30 to 90?
We're going 30 to 90 because we're bringing the CMAR on early, and we're going to get a lot of that worked out early on.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. If we can get a ordinance number, please.
It's resolution number 3471.
Sorry, was it a resolution number?
Yes. A resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the proposal by Wilson and Company.
Yeah.
Oh, is this an ordinance?
3471.
Let me pull it up 1 minute.
I didn't know if it was my thing. I'm like, wait a minute, it says ordinance, but.
Okay, oh, that's not good.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I can, as Adriana is looking at for the ordinance number, I want to come back and address Councilman Badillan's question specifically about timing. And I'm going to ask Kevin, I think the primary difference between these two segments from a construction perspective is a change in philosophy from a procurement perspective. And there was a day that we were designing, going through design before we hired a contractor. That's what you're seeing south of Cottonwood Lane, or I'm sorry, south of Courtson today, between Courtson and Cottonwood. We would typically finalize the design and maybe even do a hard bid at that point. That project is at 90% for that reason. But the idea, to Kevin's point, that really is, in my mind, has been a change in our procurement philosophy, is that we will hire the same firm and ultimately get a contractor on board today. I know they're going to have more value on that segment between Cottonwood and Courtson, but certainly want to get their input on this segment that was previously designed.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Just wanted to make sure there was some clarity in that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Ordinance number 3471, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the proposal by Wilson and Company, Inc. to provide professional engineering services for the Treco Road Relief Sewer Project, authorizing the expenditure of public funds and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move for approval of ordinance number 3471 as presented.
Second. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember B. Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Houston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, item K7. Dan, thank you.
Good evening. Staff does recommend that mayor and city council approve a minor amendment to City Code Section 9.24.040 concerning construction start and stop times to align with state law that was recently signed by the governor and took effect immediately. City Code does comply with the dates and times of the new state law as displayed here, with one minor exception that allows for the pouring of concrete 1 hour before the time that general construction activities are regularly scheduled to begin. Accordingly, staff recommends adding this language to the city code to come into full compliance. So pretty straightforward amendment for your consideration this evening, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions? No. All right. Okay, if we can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 3472, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending section 9.24.040 of the City of Casa Grande Municipal Code relating to the construction activity hours, establishing the severability of the various sections of the ordinance, and establishing an effective date.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve ordinance number 3472 as presented.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember B. Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Okay. L1. All right. You're up, James.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Item L1 in front of you this evening is a zone change request known as the Pratt Zone Change for property at 112 East Cottonwood Lane. The request is to revise a portion of the property that's currently zoned R1 to the B2 general business zone. The applicant owns a 1.16 acre parcel outlined in black on the screen, but 0.65 acres of that parcel is currently zoned R1, which is a single-family residential zone district. The remainder of the property is zoned B2. So the request is simply to place the 0.65 acres into the B2 zone so the entirety of the parcel sits within one zone district. Regarding the development standards that are applicable to B2 zone districts, there would be the ability to comply with all of the requirements. I do want to note that there is a residential setback for B2 properties when adjacent to residentially zoned properties of 45 feet. And ordinarily, there is a maximum height of 35 feet within the B2 zone. When reviewing zone changes, the criteria involved have to do with compliance with the general plan. The area that is proposed to go from R1 to B2 sits within the neighborhood's general plan land use category. The rest of the site sits within the community corridor category. Although it's not preferable to have a parcel sit in two zone districts, it's really not a problem to have a parcel sit within two general plan areas. It doesn't happen all the time, but as a parcel maybe gets closer to a different land use designation, it makes sense to envision development that is more in line with the tenets of the abutting general plan designation. But because of that, staff and ultimately Planning Commission did have a recommended condition of record that the maximum height allowed for any structure within this zone change area is 28 feet instead of 35 feet. Regarding the public notification process, we met all the requirements set out by city code. There weren't any comments or inquiries during the review. At the May 1st Planning Commission meeting with a vote of 5-1, they did move to forward to City Council a recommendation to approve this zone change request from R1 to B2 with the following condition of record, that the maximum height allowed for any structure within this 0.65 acre area be limited to 28 feet. Just a quick background, there was a particular commissioner that did not like that condition. They felt that the B2 zone already had development standards that were sensitive to adjacency to residential, the 45-foot setback, and he felt that restricting the height was unnecessary. that motion to strike the condition failed. And when the new motion was made to approve with the condition as written, there was a dissenting vote. But the particular commissioner who had the dissenting vote had recommended approval of the motion without the condition, if that makes sense. But it went forward as stated. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions? Sure, Bob.
I do. James, the height restriction, would that apply to communication towers also?
So, Councilmember Huddleston, communication towers are subject to a conditional use permit.
Okay.
And so it is a good question. I might defer that to our city attorney, but my read on it is that the intent of this would apply to uses permitted by right. They would have to go through a conditional use permit anyway to request a height, and that could be considered by Planning Commission.
Okay. And the only reason I ask is that I don't believe we know exactly what they're planning to do there, but I know there is a tower right next to it.
Right.
So anyway, I considered that.
And
Someone
just-
else have a question?
Yes, Mayor.
Oh, were you going to answer?
Yeah, if I could, just
Sure.
the way the condition was placed at planning and zoning and thus written in the ordinance limits it to any structure at 28 feet. So if they did want to come in and do a tower, they would need to probably do a rezoning to remove that restriction, and would also need to do the conditional use permit to get the tower.
Okay, thank you.
So Mayor Fitzgibbons, I just want to clarify with this ordinance does have in place the 28-foot height restrictions as it's presented today.
Correct.
It was the applicant okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, this is a public hearing, so if anyone would like to come up and address the council on this item, now's the time. Open that up. No comment? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And if we can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1178.468, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance number 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from single-family residential R1 to general business B2 on property generally located at 11 East Cottonwood Lane, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve ordinance number 1178.468.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Dillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
That's a nice yes.
All right, I know, yes.
Yes.
So that's one on there, you have to be happy. Okay, reports. So we don't have a meeting next time, remember, we have a day off on
Fourth of
July
July,
7th.
yeah.
So we'll start with reports. Anthony, how about if we start with you?
I'll start with the Juneteenth Town Hall by our City of Casa Grande Arts and Culture Commission. That will be this coming Saturday, June 21st at Pace from 1 to 6. I know they have a couple panels that's going to be going on. They have a lot of different events that's going on there, and it's at the Pace High School. And so looking forward to that. I actually will be there on one of the panels. And so, but looking forward to the town hall setting.
Good, thank you.
That's it.
Sean?
No reports from me, really, besides, hopefully everybody had a happy Father's Day. I know I did. Got to celebrate the ribbon cutting at O'Neill Park for the kids' playground. That was really neat to see everybody out there and to see all the amenities that they have for the youth that they implemented in this new playground facility for the handicapped and sight impaired, and they kind of thought of everybody down there. So it's pretty neat. Have a happy 4th of July. Probably won't be here to see all you guys and everyone out here. Just happy 4th of July, and make sure and go to the fireworks show.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it from me.
All right, thank you. Bob?
No report, thank you.
Brett?
The only one I've got is driving home this afternoon, listening to KTR radio, and there was discussion on how you pronounce certain words throughout Arizona. And the last one happened to be about our city, and it was Casa Grande.
Thank you. Thank you.
And their feeling was that if you actually say Casa Grande, you must be from out of state.
Out of state.
I agree.
Just wanted to leave it at that.
All right.
A little more fuel on that.
That's funny. What about you, Becca?
No reports.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad you shared that. Always back and forth on that. No, the Juneteenth, I'm really happy to see the city doing something, the Arts and Culture Commission. So this is the first year we've had an event, so I'm, happy to see that they're celebrating this day, and I'll definitely be there at some point. And O'Neill Park, yes, thank you to our Parks Department. It was great, Danny, just everything, just the design of it, the park, and an all-inclusive playground, which is really neat. And there's so many, it's funny how people just recognize it. I mean, those colors of the playground just pop. And people that drive by, there's been a lot of people have mentioned it to me that, wow, that's great, that we're improving the park there. So, and more to come. It is going to be fenced in eventually, and I know you're going to put a new ramada there eventually. So, and that's such an active area, that O'Neill Park, when all the softball games and stuff are going on there. So it's going to be a nice addition to that. I also wanted to just thank all of the, our code enforcement and our Parks Department and our nonprofits, Richard Cunningham with Chips and Cara for that big cleanup on Shoals Street. There was a pretty large encampment, several encampments there, and the property owner was, ready to get people moved out of there. So it was a coordinated effort by all of these guys to go and, kind of clean up that area. And so I just wanted to thank everyone. And the police department, Casa Grande PD, can't forget that, for everything they did to kind of clean up that area. And there's just a lot of activity. The LDS Church this weekend also had their group out. Brad Clark has a group of missionaries that are going out and doing graffiti abatement. They're cleaning up graffiti all over the city. So I really want to thank the LDS Church and those young men for going out and just being active. And it's something that they're continuing to do. So we really appreciate everything that they all do, because it is all volunteer. So yeah, I think, a lot of activity going on. So it's nice to have the July 7th, no meeting on the 7th, so everyone have a great 4th of July. Please go to the park. I believe the events are, what is it, from Danny, the time of the event, 7 p.m. It starts at Paul Mason Sports Complex. A lot of activities going on. Danny, thanks for the little bags to remind us all. So everyone just have a very safe 4th of July. Keep cool. And one more thing, there's so many different activities with our parks and recreation. Community service has a lot of activities going on. Thank you to all of your team. It's so great seeing all of them just out and about town too, running into them at Jersey Mike's and anywhere else, in their Casa Grande, shirts. So it's just nice seeing all these young people that are out there working and coming back to their community. So everyone have a great evening, and see you. Look at Brent, it's only 8:10, so. So, yeah, thank you, good night, and everyone, thank you for being here. We'll adjourn. You're gonna win the bet.
I never win.